not need an introduction, right? So Davia, as she mentioned before, I've known her for probably about 4 years. And just the energy that Davia brings to all of us, the warmth that she brings to all of us. And also, as we all know, she is the queen of connection and collaboration. And so this next piece is really talking about, so what's next for us? What are some opportunities for us if we would like to continue to be visible and to grow our business? So Davia, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thanks, Lori. I am, a little bit hesitant to share this piece, and I'll tell you why. It's really interesting. It feels like it's been such a long time, and I guess it really is. It's probably been about 1,000,000 years ago, probably back when dinosaurs roamed the earth, right? So this is little Davia, and she was on the playground. I was looking at my human design last night. I mentioned this earlier, and I was looking at it a little bit more closely. Every now and again, I go back and I look at my chart. For those of you who are very familiar with human design, you never get to the point where you're done with your chart. There's always more to explore. And I was looking at a particular one of my channels, and it's basically the channel that takes something that's a nebulous idea and takes it into form, makes it into something that's concrete, makes it into something that is actually real and realizable. So this is little Davia, and I was in perhaps little school, grade school, elementary school, whatever you might call it. And this memory came to me recently because I was in a coaching session with one of my coaches, and she said to me, you're going to be having summit with all these amazing women, and you need to talk to them about this opportunity for them to hop on board and be a part of the next upcoming collaborative book and summit and opportunity that you want to offer. What do you want to talk to them about? And ladies, I was at a loss for words. For those of you who know me, me being at a loss for words, that's like unheard of. Who's ever heard of me being at a loss for words? For those of you who don't know me being at a loss for words is not something that happens very frequently. I even was surprised, but she asked me to close my eyes and just think a little bit, because we're in the business of transformation. So there's often something behind whatever we are manifesting, whatever is showing up for us. And she asked me to close my eyes and to really think about, what is the holdup? Why am I so hesitant? Why am I having no butterflies whatsoever to come on stage and talk to all of you and hug you all and be in person with all of you and tell you all about every single person who is in this book and share everybody with you? But why is it that there is a holdup for me with sharing about this opportunity for you to come join our next collaboration? And I closed my eyes just like I was instructed, and I went within, and the memory that came up for me was something I hadn't thought about in a really long time. And I could feel it. It was almost like I was there again. And I could feel the dusty playground air. I could feel the trees moving in the background. And there was this little house on the playground. You know those little playhouses? But there was only one playhouse. And every kid wanted to play in the playhouse, guys. Every single kid wanted to play in the playhouse, but there was only one. And so it was kind of a first come, first serve basis to play in the playhouse. So what did I do? Looking again at my human design last night, I figured out why that happened to me even as a baby. I figured out there's a way to get this existential idea of everybody being able to play in the playhouse who wanted to play in the playhouse to making it a reality of everybody who wanted to play in the playhouse get to play in the playhouse, right? So I devised a game, and of all the things that I could have called it, I called it Lunch Club. Around, can't make this stuff up, guys. Cannot make this stuff up. I called it Lunch Club. And it was a game that allowed everybody to rotate through the club. And the kids had a ball. It was great. It was tons of fun. However, somebody mentioned it to our teacher, and somehow she felt as though it was excluding somebody. I don't know. I was misunderstood in that moment. And so she came and she shut it down. No shade on the teacher. Look, you've met teachers. They're overworked, they're underpaid. She did what she had to do in that moment. But what happened with me is that I kind of retreated inside, I think, a little bit, and it has caused me to be a little stressed out whenever I have an idea that's all mine that I have to share with the world. And so I have this brilliant idea, well, an idea that I think is brilliant, that is living in my psyche, that I think can take us as entrepreneurs from zero to hero in 60 seconds flat, and wanting to share it with you all, but having some hesitation because I don't want to get knocked down again. So I want to invite you, because I know that we all have something that is standing in the way of us stepping fully into the leadership that we're meant to have. That's my story. What's your story? I'm going to invite you to go ahead, and if it feels right for you, why don't you close your eyes and take a deep breath in and hold that breath. And go ahead and exhale all the way out. And once more on the inhale, holding the breath in and exhale all the way out. And breathe in, hold your breath. And on that third exhale, I want you to just think back to the very first thought that comes to mind, the first thought of something that could be a roadblock to your leadership, a roadblock to what could be the next great thing for you, a roadblock to something that could be your holdup, the thing that could be just profound for you going forward. I want you to stay with that memory for just a moment. I want you to remember the sights, the sounds, the smells, if any. What did it feel like in your body? And then I want you to take a deep breath in. And I want you to hold that breath. And exhale. And whatever that memory is, and whoever maybe inadvertently put that memory there or placed that memory there or prevented you from excelling or living your best life in that moment, I invite you to spread some love and forgiveness to yourself and to them in this moment. Take a deep breath in and hold and exhale. Send some love to past you. Recognize that that memory can no longer hold you back and that your future of leadership absolutely awaits. One more time, take a deep breath in and hold it. And as you exhale, when you're ready, open your eyes and we emerge back into this moment. Is there anybody who feels like they might want to share about anything that came up for them just now? What I know for sure is that when we have things that happen to us that change the way we perceive ourselves, sometimes when we have the opportunity to talk about it in a group, it can really allow us to release that. Sherry, can you share with us?
Yeah, I just had something profound happen in my mind. Sorry, I'm on the couch with my dogs and they're bugging me. So I do interior design, and when I'm working with clients and they love the work that I do, I get, such a great feeling from that. And I just now connected it with this never-ending desire, or like a seeking approval kind of feeling that I get from when I deliver my designs and the people love them. It just gives me this high. And growing up, I did not have that sort of I was always trying to seek my father's approval and everything. And this memory came to me when I think I was in the 4th grade, and my parents didn't get along very well. And it was that night was going to be my birthday party. My grandparents were coming and everything, and my father and mother were fighting. And I remember being in the bedroom with my dad, like, "Daddy, please stop fighting with mommy. I promise I'll lose weight. I'll do whatever you need me to do so that you will stop fighting." And I just like made this weird connection between the feeling that I get between the approval, the satisfaction, the approval that I get from my natural talent, almost like, "Ha ha, I showed you," to my dad in a way. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's sort of like what just happened to me just now.
Thank you for sharing. And when you're at the end of that memory, were you able to release it and
Yeah,
give yourself
I've definitely done a lot of work to get past like some damaging things from my childhood, but it was just weird how that image came to me when you had us close our eyes. I just had that like flashback to that time period and kind of tying it to where I am now in life. It's just an odd little connection.
Yeah. Sometimes it's the strangest thing. Sometimes it's something that you are quite aware of, and sometimes it's something that's in your peripheral view that you have absolutely no awareness of. So I think there's always an opportunity to go take these moments to do some introspection, do some visualization work, and maybe do some journaling if you're not in a setting where you have another person who can mirror you. I also find that it's valuable to have a partner that you can have some conversation with. I want to also say that if you find it valuable to share in the chat about anything that came up with you, feel free to share, because one thing I know for sure is that this is a safe space and we have created this container and we've shown up for each other today to really support each other. And so we're here to do that today. I want to just acknowledge the chat. Wendy says, "You are seen, Sherry. Thanks for your vulnerability." Kelly says, "Thank you for sharing, Sherry. Appreciate your transparency and vulnerability." Barb says, "I can relate to much of those past feelings, Sherry. Sending you love and hello to your puppers." Kathleen says, "Sherry, I cannot stop shivering. Thank you. I think I have more soul work to do over here based on the window that you've just opened for us." And Elizabeth says, "I definitely have some of that 'I'll show you' energy too, to my dad. I can relate to that." And Barb says, "Ditto, Liz, totes my goats." Amazing vulnerability. If you go through the chat, you'll see, Sherry, that there's just so much outpouring of love for you in that moment. And so it's such a great opportunity for us to really realize that we're never alone in all of the things that we've been through. A lot of the times we think that the experiences that we've had, that we've used to shut ourselves off and that we've used to prevent ourselves from telling everybody about the wonderful ideas that we have to share, which is the case in my situation, we really don't have to, because we're all here for each other. And yes, it's true, Gail, vulnerability takes such courage. And Sherry, thank you so much for sharing. Really appreciate that. So I'll tell you all another story. I was invited to participate before I started doing this amazing work and inviting Elizabeth to be our collaboration partner with Ladies Power Lunch. I was invited to be part of collaboration books many, many times in the past. And I remember I was talking to one of our Ladies Power Lunch members a few years ago. I was actually sitting in her office, her beautiful, just well-appointed office, like really beautiful bookshelves. And I have her permission to share the story, but I don't feel like I want to share who she is. She's one of our members. She's an outstanding coach. She is just amazing. And she at the time, she was struggling to get her name out there. She's so good at what she does, and she was struggling to fill her practice. She was struggling to get people to recognize the diamond that she is. So I was sitting in her office, and she's a dear friend of mine, and we were talking, and she had to pop off to go do something. And so I was wandering around her office and kind of being nosying around on her bookshelf. And I noticed that she had these 7 books on her bookshelf. They're all bestsellers, and they all had her name on it. Books that I'd never heard about, books that I'm sure are amazing, books that would have been wonderful if they had gotten into the hands of the people who needed it the most, but books that weren't working for her. And I think that it was in that moment that the idea or the seed of Visibility Circle was planted. And I remember saying to her, "Hey, you know what we should do? We should do a collaboration book together." And I remember her, because we started talking about collaboration books, and she was like, "Nope, I don't do collaboration books because I've done 7 of them. And as you can see, they haven't really done that much for me." So that's how the seed of Visibility Circle was planted. It was the idea of doing something for us as entrepreneurs to help us to increase our reach and to increase our success, get our message out there with ease and efficacy so that we can stop being the world's best kept secret. Because one thing that I know for sure, and we talked about this yesterday, is that the women who are part of Ladies Power Lunch, they are outstanding. They are stellar. They are excellent at what they do. And they're not here just to do a 9 to 5. They're here because they're passionate about what they do and they want to make a difference. So that's how the idea of what we're calling the Visibility Circle, the product that actually birthed this book, the Ignite Your Leadership book and the Ignite Your Leadership summits and all the bells and whistles that you see along with that. That's how this idea was born. Does that make sense for you guys? Making sense so far? Anybody think that's kind of a screwy idea? So that's what it's called. It's called Visibility Circle. And who is it for? Well, here's the thing, guys. It's for the heart-centered woman or man, because we do have quite a few members who are men who are really committed to the idea of women supporting women. So we're not going to discriminate in that, but it's for the heart-centered person in business who's passionate about what they do, who has a story. You know how we were talking yesterday about how your mess is your message, who has a story, a message to share and wants to make a difference with the work that they do. You know how we were saying yesterday that all it takes to be a leader is to be the kind of person who actually supports others? If you are the kind of person who, with the work that you do, supports others, then basically the Visibility Circle is for you. It's for you. And just to give you an idea of what the Visibility Circle is, and I am sharing slides generally when I do workshops and things like that. People don't see me doing slides, but I'm sharing slides because one of the things that's really important to me is I don't want any misunderstandings. I don't want it to be like back in the playground days where anything is misunderstood. I want to make sure that it's in black and white and you get all the details. So what is Visibility Circle? One thing that it is not, it's not a coaching program. As a matter of fact, some of the main people who benefit from Visibility Circle are our coaches, our healers, our leaders, our speakers, our authors, or teachers or consultants, or people who are professionals of all types. Because basically what we have is a 12-month framework that's built out. Myself, Barb, and Elizabeth, we're, the lead collaborators on this program, but there are quite a few other participants or visibility professionals who are also supporting the work that you do. And so it's already built out. We've already done a lot of work and we've already figured out through testing and trial what you need, what works, what doesn't. And basically all you have to do is just step right in. And the result is that over 12 months, you're able to get your message in front of about 20 to 50,000 of your ideal clients. Who likes that idea of getting your message in front of 20 to 50,000 ideal clients? And you can type me in the chat. And I do appreciate that that's not for everyone, because I can feel that that can bring with it a little bit of overwhelm. Already, some people might be saying, oh my goodness, that sounds like that's going to be a whole lot of work. That sounds stressful. And for those of you who were in Sorabel's breakout earlier today, I think you already get that actually it's not going to be a lot of work for you because it's a framework that's already built out and everybody knows their part and everybody knows what to play, the part that they play. A lot of people, because they know that I host Ladies Power Launch, they know that back in the day before I came to this role, that when I worked in the corporate setting, that I did a lot with training and I did a lot with the corporate marketing side and a lot with drug launches and that sort of thing. They asked me a lot of questions about growing their business and what does it take to grow your business? And I tell them all the time that it really just takes 7 things. All you have to do is these 7 things. And I get excited when people ask me because for those of you who are into human design, I'm a projector. So somebody asking me what to do, I get excited because that's an invitation. I'm invited. I'm going to hop on board and I'm going to start telling you. There's 7 things you got to do, guys. You just got to be a best-selling author, featured summit speaker. You got to do some collaborative branding. Then you got to be a podcaster. Also, you want to do some streaming TV. Then you want to do some quantum repurposing to get your content going. And you want to get about 20 business collaborators. Of course, by the time I'm finished telling them that list of 20 things, their eyes start to glaze over a little bit like how you're looking right now. And this meme with Homer Simpson where he's just kind of backing away slowly. Yeah, they start to do that. So let me explain. Again, just like the little girl on the playground who probably should have explained a little bit more clearly to her teacher, let me explain. You get to be a best-selling author, but you don't have to do it alone because one of the tenets of Ladies Power Launch is collaboration. And so we do it together with a best-selling collaborative books. And so Elizabeth's going to tell us a little bit about that in a little while. You also get to be a featured summit speaker on our Ladies Power Launch Summit. So you don't have to go put on your own summit unless you want to, in which case we'll support you in doing that. But you get to be on our Ladies Power Launch Summits and you get to decide which summits you want to be on. There's a whole protocol for what you can do with us. You get to be part of our collaborative branding and list building activities. So for those of you who might be thinking, oh my goodness, I don't even have what it takes, don't even worry because Barb has got you. She is holding you close. And when it comes to that whole personal branding piece, she knows it backwards, forwards, and in a circle. If any of you have seen the evolution of the Ladies Power Launch brand from what it used to be, oh my God, back in the day to what it is now, I want you guys to just go back and look, like scroll through the feed and look. You will see the 100% difference. And then all of you will just line up at her door and start ordering her products because she is amazing. What else do you get? You also get number 4, podcasting. We have Jim on our team who his wonderful, beautiful bride is also on our call with us today. And she can tell you wonderful things about how much of a podcast expert he is. We have streaming TV, which is also a part of the package that we offer to our Ladies Power Launch Visibility Circle folks. And of course, we give our members the opportunity to be part of the 20-person collaboration team. So, it's not that I'm trying to infuse any false sense of like scarcity here. But what we do know is, how many clients you can see in a day and still give exactly the best kind of work that you can do. Everybody knows that, right? Type yes in the chat if you know exactly how many clients you can see in a day without burning out. Well, it's the same sort of thing. We know exactly how many people we can accommodate in this program and still give each person the very best visibility that is possible, and exactly what it takes for everybody to still be able to make the right kinds of connections. And then the last piece, and this is the piece that I feel is going to be the most important for you. And I want to give this photo credit to Teresa Nat, who is also one of our amazing authors on the Ignite Your Leadership Summit and anthology. The quantum repurposing, because what you do when you sit with us to be part of Visibility Circle is you build content with us, and we use that content for a number of different things. So it might sound overwhelming because we're having you do all these, it sounds like you're doing all these different things. But what happens is you start one place, and that's with sitting with me. And we sit and we decide, what is your dream? What is it that you want? If you look 5 years down the line and things are going ideally, what does that look like for you? And then once we've figured that out and we've done that math and we've built that spreadsheet, then your second stop is to have a conversation with Barb. And I want to ask Barb, Barb, can you hop off mute for a second? And can you just share with everybody a little bit about what happens when people come and have conversation with you?
Oh, what do you mean exactly? What are you talking about? Clarify that question, please.
When people come for Visibility Circle to have conversation with you.
Well, we have a good time, actually. We will become friends. We get a little bit of, you get a lot of clarity, actually, too. We're going to talk about your business goals. We're going to talk about, a lot of it, too, is you envision what it is that you want. Because a lot of times what I'm finding is you're gonna sit there a moment and you're gonna just embody and envision for a moment, where do you want to be? Where do you want to go with your business? And that's the beautiful part of it. And then we take that and we talk about your business, and then we take that and we put those into words in your messaging, and that's the fun part.
And then one of the things about building this message, Barb, is that you're able to take this message and they can use this message in a number of places. Like, how can they use this message that you're helping them to build?
They can use that in their social media posts. They use that in their email. You can use it everywhere. This is a part of your branding. It becomes a part of you. So, it's how you talk about yourself. Your branding, here's the thing, your branding is so much more than just your logo, right? This is your story. You're going to be sharing a piece of you. So this is going to be how you're talking about yourself. It's really quite beautiful. So you're going to be sharing this in every facet of how you want to show up and talk about yourself, like in every little space, and how your client interactions or how your clients interact with you. So this is where you're going to be sharing this. This is going to be your brand messaging, basically.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I personally loved when I worked with you is that you pare it down, you make it consistent. Because one of the things about us as entrepreneurs is we want to do a whole lot of things. We want to change the world in a lot of different ways. And sometimes we need to narrow it down. We need to niche down. We need to focus. And one of the things that you helped me with was to really stay focused on my message, that I was consistent across platforms and consistent with my branding. So that was one way that I found that you were helpful for me. Awesome. I want to tag in on bestie Elizabeth and just ask you, Elizabeth, how you go about contributing to this quantum repurposing. When they're done sitting with me and we plan out their goals, when they sit with Barb and they plan out their brand, then they come to you for story. Can you talk a little bit about how that process works?
Yes. So the first part of this is getting clear on what story has made a big difference to your life, what transformation you have gone through. And so the first version of the chapter that I like to work with people on is actually for themselves. So the first one they write is for them. So there's tremendous healing that can come from that place. There's discoveries that can come from that place that are really exciting to see. And then, and that we have ways that we can guide you through that process. We have prompts that can bring you through creating that chapter, that story. And then after that, we go in and we hold space for it. We look at it and see, okay, now what is the story? What is the heart of this message that we can share with other people, right? That will make a difference and land with others. And what's exciting about that is, yes, it can be used for the chapter, and your entire story can be used in so many different ways, right? It can be used as a talk that you're giving in a summit. It can be used on a podcast, it can be used in your language that you send out, your marketing emails. It helps you to be comfortable in your own skin as you are able to share your story as well, which is what I found is the biggest thing that I receive from sharing my stories in books and on different platforms. So that's the framework that we have set in place for the book, and we never know exactly what people will receive. Because it's different for every person, and there is magic and miracles, and the universe comes in and helps us. So we get surprises along the way, but we've created this framework to help people through that process. Really
I love, Elizabeth, that you say that it's not one size fits all. I feel like a lot of the things that I have come across over the years have been very cookie cutter. And what I love about our collaboration is that it's very individual. I know that we could go on and on about how wonderful our products and services are, but I think it's always really better for people who have at least had a taste of what we have to offer to themselves share what they thought of us. And so I was wondering, we offer different products out of Ladies Power Lunch, not just Visibility Circle. For example, people have the opportunity to, if they don't want to do a collaborative book, they can do a whole book by themselves. And Jen Jones was somebody who did that. She did Intrapreneur, which is a bestseller and an amazing, might I say, book. If you haven't as yet had a chance to read that book from cover to cover, go back through, underline all the things, put sticky note tabs on it, and just read it again. It's not just for introverts, it's for every single entrepreneur who's trying to make real, true, heart-centered connections. But I'd like to ask you, Jen, would you be open to just sharing a little bit about what your experience was like working with our collaboration team?
Yes. Love talking about that. I'm not leaving the room because Ladies Power Lunch is great. So, I've always said for the last 5 years, I'm going to write a book. Have no idea what I was going to write a book about. But then all of a sudden this beautiful thing comes on and it's like, oh, come join the Visibility Circle, write your own book. And I'm like, oh, I need to do this. And I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. And I say that in a very positive way. So I spent probably 9 months, which, birthing a book, I spent about 9 months with Liz and Dr. Davia and Barb, who, if you go on and look at the website, or not website, but the landing pages, they're just gorgeous in her process. made me get really clear about my message, which I
Mhm.
think I wasn't super clear on. I knew what it was, but she was able to really bring it forward and make it even beautiful than I could have ever imagined. And I learned so much about myself during the process. I rewrote a few chapters. And I also reminded myself that, we're talking about human design. I'm also a manifester, and I do not have the generator energy to keep things going. So I did have to take several breaks during the process. And I was scared to ask. I'm like, I need some time. And, and everyone just came with open arms and said, you know what, you need time. You got time. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like that was probably the best thing. There is some deadlines that you need to meet, but overall, the experience of being completely held in the space and open for, whatever turns and twists needed to happen was just, it was amazing. And then launching, woo, best-selling author. I mean, that was, I couldn't have, I'm still getting like the Amazon payments for my book, which, you just think, oh, you're going to launch, you're going to get a few dollars and like call it a day. But that has not been the case. And I've been so supported with podcasts, with interviews, all this stuff from not only you guys, but the people in Ladies Power Lunch. So the visibility, be ready because it's there, and there's opportunity to really put forth the work that's inside your heart out into the world. And I think that's the scariest part, but once you do it, you're going to feel magnificent.
Awesome. International best-selling author. I want to tag in Wendy Lee and Lori Raggio, who have also done the collaborative books with us. Would you guys be open to sharing a little bit as well?
I'm open always.
Thank you.
Would you like me to start sharing now?
I would. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Yes, this is an awesome, fantastic, scary, vulnerable, life-changing opportunity. There's two things that I know for sure. If you really want to get to know yourself, one, be an entrepreneur and write or be part of a book. It's such a healing way. This is how it works, right? We think we're signing up because we get this download that we want to be a part of a book or a collaboration, or we have this story in our heart that we want to share. And then we have this opportunity that floats by because that's what happens. That's what's happening right now. And then we sign up, and guess what happens? All the stuff starts coming up. And that's why for me, it was so important to be held in a space to allow that to happen. Because if you're really telling a truthful story or sharing from your vulnerable space, things are going to come up. So being able to be supported in that was so fabulous. And I'll just say really quickly, this is what happened to me. I had gone into hibernation through the pandemic. And when I emerged out of my cubbyhole, the first thing on my mind was, let me listen and see what my next point is. And there was two things that came up. And one of them was not a book, but a book collaboration, and then some speaking. And I knew just who to call. I called Dr. Davia, and guess what? She was like, oh, we're right in the middle of a book collaboration. And for whatever reason, that didn't come through my vision at that time. And so then I said, okay, yes, let's do it. And not only that, then I got to partner with who has become my dear friend, Liz, who I had met several years before. The first time I came to Ladies Power Luncheon, sat right next to her, and I never even knew this is what something she did, that she was an author and she was doing publishing. And it was like, isn't that interesting that we don't shine our light, we don't ask for help, we don't get the support. And what I know for sure is if you're getting that nudge, Not everybody gets the nudge to be part of a book or write a book or whatever it might be. We all don't get that. So if you're getting that, that's coming to you. It's an invite, and you're in a super safe place. And of course, you also get then supported with all the goodness with Barb and her energy. Yeah, it's a win, 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 win. All I want to do is win, 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 no matter what. That's my 2 cents. Lori, you're up.
Wow, to have to follow that. I am not singing. I am not singing. My experience has been kind of interesting and has taken a little bit of a turn. So have been in 4 of the book collaborations. And so as I look back at every single one of them, now I'm like, oh, I actually have 4 chapters for my own book. So there's been more thoughts of, what that might look like for me. But I've been really excited because I actually have invited some of my coaching clients to be authors in some of these books. So it also then has taken it to a different level where I can help them with their visibility and their interests in taking their lives in a different direction that they currently are in. And then because of the, wonderful experiences I've had, I'm on a board that's called Hobblejob Foundation. And what we do is we raise funds to give grants to organizations that support people with traumatic brain injuries. And it's their post-acute care. And so I went to the board that I'm on, and I said, I had this wonderful experience being part of this book collaboration. What do you think about doing that for our foundation? And I'll tell you, I think I get more emotional about that one than some of my own stories, because I was able to do kind of like a back of the book chapter of being the first president of that foundation, but the amazing people that we collected to tell their stories. And in each chapter, there are resources that they each used to really help with their healing. So I think we've got almost 100 resources in that book, something that really hasn't been done in the past. But to watch them, and it was their very first time telling their whole story. So taking that to this nonprofit foundation, and I know, Liz, that was the first time that you had that experience too. It kind of gave me this whole other way of looking at what a book collaboration can do for individuals, for organizations, and there's other, groups that I'm trying to talk through, going through that process. But I think for me, it's just been kind of this multifaceted, process that started with, by the way, do I want to, write one chapter in one book? So thank you, guys.
Lori,
Thank you, Lori.
I'm going to add one quick thing on that, Davia.
Sure.
There's somebody out there waiting to hear what is in your book. Just like you picked up a book once and read one line and it completely changed your life, there's somebody waiting to hear your message. And that's how we keep doing this ripple effect. That's it.
That's pretty much the truth. Yeah. It's the thing I talk about all the time. I say to people that I talk a lot about collaboration and coming together, and that's the baseline of the message that I want to share with the world. But the real message, the core of what I stand for, is helping us as a woman in business who have something outstanding, something stellar to share with the world, something that if we are able to share it, it will make the world so much of a better place. if we're able to share that message, then we're able to light up the people who need that message. You've heard me say it before. There are people out there losing sleep at night because they need your message. And if they can get that, then they can light up, they can be better. And they can light up the people that they come into contact with. And then those people can light up and be better. And on it goes until, I don't know, I have this like really crazy idea that the whole world eventually, if you look at, Barb and I sat down and there was a lot of thought that went into the cover of this book. We sat down and we thought, what would happen if all these points of light just joined together and made the world a better place? Take a look at the cover. You'll see my heart. I'm not just a projector. I have motivation in a sense. Like there's no artifice here. What you see, guys, is what you get. If I say it, it is me. There is nothing else here but what I say. And so I'm going to give you the information about how to enter the visibility circle. And like I said, it's just like the playhouse on the playground. You know, there's only room for 20 because we really have seen that there is an opportunity for us to give of our best when there are 20 people in this container. If we get to past 20, then we'll have to figure something out and perhaps start a waiting list or something. But we know that people like to do things in different ways. Some people like to do monthly payments. Some people like to pay in full. So if you are interested in understanding how to become a part of Visibility Circle, will you give me permission to just explain that to you now? Is that okay? Yeah, okay. So if you're the kind of person who likes to pay in full, after this summit, it's going to be $6,500 pay in full. But just as a bonus for you who've paid for a ticket to come to Summit, you've sat through Summit, you've done all the things we want to offer just for Summit alone and ending at the end of Summit, the price is $5,997 pay in full. You pay that, you're done, and it's a 12-month program and you're all set. If you'd like more information about that, you can go to growsmarternotharder.com/visibility because you want to grow smarter. You don't want to work harder. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a woman in small business, if you're a woman in business of any kind, the fact of the matter is you've already been working way harder than you were when you were in corporate. As it is, there is no more room. So we're talking about growsmarternotharder.com/visibility. If you want to pay in full for the duration of the time that we are in Summit, it's $5,997 pay in full for this year-long program. I know it sounds like it's a steal, and the truth is, it is. Not everybody likes that pay in full idea, and that's fine. Some people like monthly payments. And so you can hold your space by making a deposit of $597 today and then paying monthly for 11 months, $597. And again, if you would like to do that, all you have to do is go to growsmarternotharder.com/visibility. And I'll just share with you a little bonus. If you are somebody who signs up today, there is an early action bonus. Somebody says that it's a good idea to reward the people who take action early. And so we'll have a session for the people who sign up early. And it's sort of like a little mini retreat. It's just about an opportunity for you to get together, but you're getting together with me, Liz, and Barb together. at the same time. And we're going to help you translate your dream. We're going to help you monetize your story, and we're going to help you embody and envision your magic. So all the things, but in that one little bonus package. So that's something that's really, really, I was talking to, when I was showing this little presentation to Barb, I told her, I want this mini retreat. I feel like this would be something that I would like to have. It just seems like it's so juicy. So it's definitely something that I would like. So I invite you, join us, get visible, get your words out there, get your story out there. There are many opportunities within Ladies Power Lunch for you to get visible. And this is, I feel, the most robust opportunity that we are offering right now. Very easy to do. growsmarternotharder.com/visibility. And like I said before, you know, a lot of people, when they think of me, they think collaboration. And yes, I'm all about collaboration. But what I really, really do believe is that if we, as the women in business of the world, were able to actually get our messages to be a bigger part of that national message, a bigger part of the words that are out there in the zeitgeist, if we were a bigger part of that, then I don't know. I really, 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 really do believe that the world would be a better place. I want to invite you, if you have any questions, or if you want to talk about this a little bit more, we're going right into our lunch break, and we're going to come back at 1 o'clock for the afternoon session. If you want to come have lunch with me, Barb, and Elizabeth, I put the Zoom link in the chat, or you can just go to 860-589-1491 in your Zoom. It's both the password and the login. And you can come into that Zoom room, come ask us any questions that you might have. I'm going to open it up for questions and comments in just a few minutes, and I invite you. Thanks, guys. Thank you for listening.